Hello everyone. Sar here. Thank you so much for joining me for a super sponsor hop with Whimsy Stamps. Today I'm going to be playing with a printable. These are digital images that you can get from Whimsy Stamps. They have a huge collection of them, and I picked out 4 of them. I'm hoping to play with all of them eventually, but I'm going to probably focus on the frog, the mouse, and this spooky background here. And I also have the digital download for these pattern papers here. For these, I just printed them on printer paper, so they're very flimsy. I figured this would be kind of nice just to play with, just to create a nice background. You can print this on cardstock, or if you don't have a printer that can do it, you can print them on this and just glue it onto some cardstock to give it some stability. It will look a little different, but it is a possibility. But I'm going to do things a little differently. So what I did, because I decided to color with pencil crayons, and they do tend to take some time to color, at least for me. So I did that all off camera, and I'm just going to show you what I did. I have the mouse here. I've already cut him out. Let's just get this in the center. So I colored my mouse. I have that background that I colored. And what I did was actually colored these on craft cardstock. Maybe I'll put it sideways. Craft cardstock. And then I just cut them out. So there we go. There's the fairy. This one's not fully finished. I think I'm going to add a little more shading, but I absolutely love how images look with craft cardstock on craft cardstock. So that's what we're going to be working with, and let's get some cutting starting. For the first card, we're going to be working on sketch number 14. And I've decided that for the whole background, I'm going to use this mummy wrapped up looking image that I colored on craft cardstock with my pencil crayons. I figured that sketch 14 would be perfect for this because you have that whole background that you can play with. And then you just have that tiny little sentiment or shape that you can put. And unfortunately, I don't have that shape in the sketch. So I use this almost distressed edged corner. It's a nested die, and I cut one piece with black cardstock and then the other with some vellum so that it's not going to hide too much of that background that I spent time coloring, but also create a nice division between the blacks. And I'm just going to place that horizontally right in the corner there so that it's only to block off the one set of eyeballs and not the big one that I really like. I was kind of having fun with this design. I was imagining that the frog was actually a wizard or a witch that had cast a spell that inadvertently turned it into a frog. Of course, that's why the frog has such a sad face, because it does not want to be a frog. But this is the way it is. And so here we are with a card of a frog that does not want to be. So I'm just going to glue that down. That is the focal image of my whole card, right down over top of that black rectangle, centering it on the black rectangle so that that wand, because it's stretched out pretty long, is going to fit on the card and not overhang. To add a little bit of bling, I have these little purple dots. I chose this purple because the spots on the frog were also this sort of color of purple or shade of purple. And I'm just going to glue those around. What I did forget to do was add my string. I thought I was finished. I looked at the sketch to say this is what I've created. And then I realized I forgot my twine. So this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take some glue and just draw a straight little line right across. And then I'm going to place my black twine over top of it. Once I have that there, I'm going to hold my fingers on it. I'm probably going to get an acrylic block and just have it sit there for a little bit because I need to make sure it's not going to fall or slide or pull out. Normally, what I would do is before I glued anything down, I would have wrapped it to the back side. And then if there was any height differences, maybe I would add some layers behind the card just so that everything would stay flush. Unfortunately, I forgot that. So luckily I was able to pull the focal image up enough and slide my twine in. And then I glued the other side as well, held it there for a while, And then I'm just going to add my bow now. So it's not the strongest, but hopefully the glue and that twine will, or jute I think it's called, will stick together and not come off this card. And then now I just have to use my sharp scissors and cut as closely to that line as possible to make it look like it actually is wrapped around. So there we go. Now I have finished the card for sketch number 14. Now to move on to the next card, which is following sketch 1, I'm going to be using my printed pattern paper that is from Whimsy Stamps. Like I said earlier, that I've printed this on printer paper, and I'm just going to glue it onto some cardstock, in this case some craft, and that's going to give it its stability so that I can play with it some more. And I'm not going to do that with those brown squares because the way they're going to be laid down, I don't really need that structure. I could have, but if I'm not going to add a mat anyways, and I'm not going to be lifting it, I think it's totally fine. So I'm going to follow the sketch fairly closely, making sure there's no twine or string or anything or needs to be added. And we're just going to go and finish this by gluing all the pieces down. Making sure that that triangle, or sorry, that diamond square shape is centered as best as I possibly can. I'm going to then glue down my brown squares. And you can see why I don't really need to glue this to a piece of cardstock. It's just going to be glued right down onto that banner there. And I'm just going to maneuver those around. Nice thing about liquid glue is I have that little bit of freedom to maneuver things as long as I don't press it down. And then once everything is down, I will just firmly press it, and then I'm going to add some foam tape to my centerpiece just to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of shadowing. And I'm going to place that down right in the center. And there we go. I'm going to have my image here. And then I forgot to show this earlier, but this is also Whimsy Stamps. This is a sheet of your everyday sentiments. And so I've picked one here that says, "You make me happy." And I'm just going to take my scissors and cut these out. This is a really easy thing. You can just print those off and cut them in advance, and then you have them. They're straight. They'll work on your cutting, your guillotine or your paper trimmers, all those things. I really like the black, the really bold black. There's nothing on this card that is black, but for me, it doesn't bother me. I think that bold sentiment really pops, and that's kind of what I want. I want you to know you make me happy. And then, of course, having a little mouse with an acorn hat, I mean, how could that not make you happy? It's just absolutely adorable. So here's out of the 2 cards that I created today. I do hope you enjoyed this. And don't forget to check out the other designers who have created cards using Whimsy Stamps, who is the super sponsor. So until the next time, have a fantastic, wonderful, beautiful fall season. And I will talk to you all later. Take care and bye.